It's very interesting that the very first GovChat event has honestly kept all of us here since we started. I think there was full attention. I think that this is a topic that is of major interest, not only to government or the Department of Social Development, but I think it is a topic that is of major importance to every South African who wants to see a better country. I think I must start from thanking GovChat, the entire structure of GovChat, and of course I must say I've also known Eldrin as way back when he was in Mixit and when he was still chasing opportunities, when he was standing by our doors, trying to convince us to appreciate and understand this that he had in his hands that had an opportunity. And I know that even that time, there were some businesses that were trying to work with him, and I think some of them dumped you, no? Yeah, some of you dumped you along the way. I want to wave to them and say, see him today. I think the platform that we have here today is a platform that says, let us have a coordinated approach to the work that we do. Let us make sure that this reach out that we started here today is not the beginning and the end, but it is a reach out that is going to be continuous. So this environment, this discussion we're having here, for me, first and foremost, is about us working together and trying to create a conducive environment for our citizens to stand on their own 2 feet. At the center of it all, we are not doing it because we want to feel good. We are not doing it because we want the statistics to be counted. We are doing it because at the center of it all is about empowering our citizens to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. Part of what I'm thinking we should add to the building of a South Africa that we want, it is about building the South African who has to inhabit that South Africa that we want. Because it's one thing to keep on saying, we're building the South Africa we want, but you are losing sight of the South African who has to inhabit that South Africa. Because if you then focus on that South African, you will deal with issues of health, you will deal with issues of education, you will deal with issues of roads, you will deal with issues of infrastructure, you will deal with issues that social development is not responsible for, but is dependent on those issues being done very properly. So I'm hoping that this buy-in that we are here for today is a buy-in that will help us empower our communities, help us empower house to house, street to street, community to community. Because we can make the general declarations and the general plans, but if that does not have the impact in a home just that's around here, doesn't make an impact on the people who are in the street who live there, then we have a serious problem. But there are a few very important things that I think I must note. One is that without doubt, GovChat must be used as the platform to connect to our people. As you were speaking and presenting, I heard the MECs behind you saying, is this for real? Is it really happening? This is for real. And the realness of it says we must be the first ones to use it and not be afraid of technology, and not be afraid of even teaching ourselves how to do it, because it's going to make life much, much easier when you can just put up the map there, whether you're a MEC for social development or MEC for water affairs and whatever. If you can be able to put this thing right there, and people can respond to you and tell you, Lindiwe Zulu, you are being nonsensical now. The facts and the figures are speaking for themselves. So it is important for us to really try to find a way and say to Eldrin and the team and everybody, please reach out to the provinces and explain to them how this thing works. Convince them that they have to use it for their benefit, not for your benefit, but for their benefit. The real deal for me is to whether we are ready in the sector, social, to be responsive. And this is what we need to use to show whether we are responsive or not. And it tells you straight away. We spoke about the values, the moral and ethics, and how to unlearn and how to do things differently. And part of what we were putting through there was that doing things differently does not mean you are undermining the achievements of the past, or we are standing up and saying, look at me and how different I'm doing things. No. You're doing things differently because you are saying 25 years of government. There are certain things that we have done very well. We have a foundation, but somewhere along the line, the foundation still has some weaknesses. Can we strengthen the foundation so that as we build this house, we build it better? Doing things differently is we are going to be assisted by exposing ourselves to this kind of a conversation. Today was almost a one-way conversation, but I think, Eldrin, in future, it might be a good idea to have the next step would be, can we bring the people who are managing the departments, for instance, the DG, the DDGs, and everybody else, and put them on the hot seat here, and ask the questions, not because you are wanting to expose them that they're not doing their job, but you're saying to them, can we help each other in the system that we need to have that will impact on the work that we are trying to do? So in closing, I would like to say that we need to a defined constant platform for strategic engagement. GovChat is one of those platforms. We're not saying it's the only platform, but we're saying this is one of the platforms. And I call on you all to collectively demonstrate decisive resolve in dealing with challenges in our society. We don't have any other country. It was describing social development somewhere in Canada, Brunswick, and yeah. When you get a time, go and Google it. It talks about social development being about the well-being of each and every individual in society. It talks about empowering people in such a way that they are able to take care of themselves. It talks about social development from a point of social development in general, and not just us here where we look at it like this. I concluded that social development is a very, very important department, or it's a very important concept in the bigger scheme of things. Because if we describe it that way, it means even myself as Lindiwe Zulu, I need certain services of social development. Even all of us here being in the room, there's something that we need that is related to social development.